Good afternoon, Miss Angelou.
Good afternoon.
How are you doing?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm good. Would you like to tell us a little bit about your childhood?
Sure. As a child, I endured many difficult challenges in my family life. I was born in St. Louis, Missouri on April 4th, 1928. My parents divorced when I was at the young age of 3. I was sent with my brother Bailey to live with my grandmother in the small town of Stamps, Arkansas. While living in the South, I faced a lot of racial discrimination, but I was also able to soak up the religious and old-fashioned culture that the South had to offer me. I was sent back with my brother to live with my mother in St. Louis once again. But a year later, in 1936, the worst imaginable thing for an 8-year-old happened to me. My mother's boyfriend, Mr. Friedman, sexually assaulted me.
Wow, that sounds awful. What other challenges did you face growing up as a black girl in Arkansas?
Well, growing up in the 1930s, there was a lot of segregation and hatred towards African Americans. I was forced to use separate but equal facilities, even as a young girl.
Wow. Did your childhood affect your writing in the future?
Well, I began producing books after some of my notable friends, including author James Baldwin, heard my stories of my childhood spent shuttling between the rural, segregated Stamps, Arkansas, and St. Louis, Missouri, where my worldly, glamorous mother lived. I wrote I Know Why the Caged Bird Sings in 1970. It was a chronicle of my life up to age 16. It was a very popular book.
Tell me about some of your other important works.
I've written 12 best-selling books. Some of my most famous pieces are I Know Why the Caged Bird Sings, A Song Flung Up to Heaven, and Even the Stars Look Lonesome. Also, I wrote Letter to My Daughter, which I brought here for us today. My list of published works is now over 30, including many autobiographies and poems.
How would you describe your writing style?
Well, I like to use fiction writing techniques such as dialogue, characterization, and development of theme, setting, plot, and language. This often results in the placement of my books into the genre of autobiographical fiction, but I characterize them as autobiographies. I made a deliberate attempt in my books to challenge the common structure of the autobiography by critiquing, challenging, and expanding the genre. On occasion, I have followed the slave narrative tradition of speaking in the first person singular, talking about the first person plural, always saying we.
So I heard you've won a lot of awards. Would you care to talk about them?
Sure. Well, I was presented with over 50 honorary degrees at different universities. In 1981, I accepted a lifetime appointment as a professor of American Studies at Wake Forest University.
Wow, beautiful area.
It sure is. I really enjoy it. I won the Ladies' Home Journal Woman of the Year Award for my poetry, the Matrix Award, the Golden Eagle Award, and the International Woman of the Year Award. In 1994, I won a Grammy for the Best Spoken Word album, and in 1992, I was presented with a Woman in Film Award.
Wow, it sounds like you've accomplished a lot. Anything else notable in your life you care to talk about?
Well, I lived abroad for many years, so I was able to read and study quite a bit. I ended up mastering many languages, such as French, Spanish, Italian, Arabic, and Bantu. Also, I became the first African American woman to have my screenplay produced as a film, which was a pretty big deal for me. My writings have also earned me nominations for a Tony Award, an Emmy Award, and a Pulitzer Prize.
And today I understand that you brought one of your most notable poems to share with us.
I
Would you
did.
like to read it for us?
Sure. This is called Still I Rise. You may write me down in history with your bitter, twisted lies. You may trod me in the very dirt, but still, like dust, I'll rise. Does my sassiness upset you? Why are you beset with gloom? Does I walk like I've got oil wells pumping in my living room? Just like moons and like suns, with the certainty of tides. Just like hope springing high, still I'll rise. Did you want to see me broken, bowed head and lowered eyes? Shoulders falling down like teardrops, weakened by my soulful cries. Does my haughtiness offend you? don't you take it awful hard. 'Cause I laugh like I've got gold mines digging in my own backyard. You may shoot me with your words, you may cut me with your eyes. You may kill me with your hatefulness, but still, like air, I'll rise. Does my sexiness upset you? Does it come as a surprise that I dance like I've got diamonds at the meeting of my thighs? Out of the huts of history's shame, I rise. Up from a past that's rooted in pain, I rise. I'm a black ocean, leaping and wide. Welling and swelling, I bear in the tide. Leaving behind nights of terror and fear, I rise. Into a daybreak that's wondrously clear, I rise. Bringing the gifts that my ancestors gave, I am the dream and the hope of the slave. I rise, I rise, I rise.
Thank you for that. That was beautiful. And you also brought your newest book, Letter to My Daughter.
Right.
And I'm going to read the introduction to that right now. Dear daughter, this letter has taken an extraordinary time getting itself together. I have all along known that I wanted to tell you directly of some lessons I have learned and under what conditions I have learned them. My life has been long in believing that life loves the liver of it. I have dared to try many things, sometimes trembling, but daring still. I have only included here events and lessons which I have found useful. I have not told how I have used solutions, knowing that you are intelligent, creative, and resourceful, and you will use them as you see fit. You will find in this book accounts of growing up, unexpected emergencies, a few poems, some light stories to make you laugh, and some to make you meditate. There have been some people in my life who have meant me well, taught me valuable lessons, and others who have meant me ill, and have given me ample notification that my world is not meant to be all peaches and cream. I have made many mistakes, and no doubt will make more before I die. When I have seen pain, and when I have found that my ineptness has caused displeasure, I have learned to accept my responsibility and to forgive myself first, then to apologize to anyone injured by my misreckoning. Since I cannot unlive history, and repentance is all I can offer God, I have hopes that my sincere apologies were accepted. You may not control all the events that happen to you, but you can decide not to be reduced by them. Try to be a rainbow in someone's cloud. Do not complain. Make every effort to change things you do not like. If you cannot make a change the way you have been thinking. You might find a new solution. Never whine. Whining lets a group know that a victim is in the neighborhood. Be certain that you do not die without having done something wonderful for humanity. I gave birth to one child, a son, but I have thousands of daughters. You are black and white, Jewish and Muslim, Asian, Spanish-speaking, Native American, and aloof. You are fat and thin, pretty and plain, gay and straight, educated and unlettered, and I am speaking to you all. Here is my offering to you. So what would you say is the general idea of this book?
Well, basically it's a collection of stories about my trials and tribulations that I went through and how I was able to get through them. When I wrote the book, I had the daughter that I never had in my mind, so that's who it's dedicated to. And like I said, I had a son, but I just want to dedicate this to all of the women and the young women around the world, and hopefully they can read this book and learn from it, and learn from my mistakes, and hopefully grow as young women.
It's a beautiful book.
Thank you. Thank you.
And we would like to thank you for coming to spend time with us today.
Sure, anytime.
And have a wonderful day.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you for being here.